The First Lady made a surprise trip to a border detention center. Now, is this just another case of a wife cleaning up for her husband? Or will this do something?
No, she's trolling her husband.
Yeah, my friend.
I think she's trolling her husband.
Amy
Why would
wrote,
she show up?
This is the most awkward
told it?
beginnings to divorce proceedings I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I think she's...
You don't think they sent her there?
I'm with you, Joy.
I
You
think
guys,
she's
come on.
trolling him.
Give her more credit. First of all, she's our First Lady.
But that's
and
why I
number
give her
two,
credit, that she probably thought of it.
Yes, I think she did this on her own.
Really?
I do. I don't think she's
Joy, you
following
and I are like-
Donald Trump's order.
Last time Joy and I are like, what is going on?
Do you agree with that?
I agree with you.
Yeah, they
it's
said
completely
that.
political.
Can I tell you something?
Come on.
We have no idea. But what we all know is that this is a very complicated marriage. Look, I thought she was trying to self-deport from the White House.
I know.
But I will say that it's damage control, but it's effective. She's by far the most popular Trump. I like her. I think she's effective. It is. I mean, yeah, it is a low bar, all things considered. But Lindsey Graham said, strong borders, tough laws, and a good heart are not mutually exclusive. And he was giving her props for going down there. And I was watching her earlier, and she really has this way of feeling your pain, as Bill Clinton would say, that President Trump say he doesn't have, is putting it very mildly. But I think that she has the potential to do some damage control. Is it going to fix this? No, of course not. But I think it could be
Maybe
effective.
he should go down there.
Yeah,
Has he seen the detention
why hasn't
centers?
he gone?
I'd like to know the answer to that question.
Yeah. He believes in photo ops because he's the one who said crying babies are not good for politics.
Some of those photo ops don't work out in his favor.
Yeah.
That Time magazine is not, that's
Exactly.
not an actual, I get it.
I'm waiting for the memes. How many of you want to know what the secret to happiness is?
Me.
Yeah,
Everybody
I'd love to
does,
know.
right? Okay, it could be as easy as moving to a big city. Studies show that people who live in cities are happier. Why? Because they feel busier. Not that they are busier, they just feel busier. And there's always something to do.
But that's assuming busy makes you feel good and having things to do makes you feel good. I'm from Iowa, and I think that quality of life, the pace, it's all so much, it leads to happiness. I think it
Then
reminds
why are you here?
Yeah.
I've been asking myself that for 17 years. No, but I think the simplicity of life always has right in front of you what really matters in life. It's family, you don't have lights and theaters and restaurants, but you have each other, and it reminds you it's who you're with, not what you're doing. I just think the burbs / small towns have it figured out.
There can't be a cookie cutter to this. Listen, you know, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
I will tell you,
Yeah.
you know, I've lived in Miami my entire life since first I was born in a very teeny town in Chinandega, Nicaragua, where there's not even a stoplight. And I've lived in Miami most of my life. And then I lived in Tallahassee and all I could do was deal with it for about 2 months because I went into the supermarket and there was like a 1.5 foot wide section called the ethnic section.
Oh, yes, yes.
And it was like taco shells and salsas. And I was like, I need to go back to Miami. The entire supermarket is an ethnic section.
So you like living in the small town then?
No.
No.
Oh.
Diverse.
I need a big airport.
You like living in Nicaragua?
You travel a lot.
No.
Well, Nicaragua right now is going through horrible, violent political strife. Over 200 people have been killed with impunity by the regime there. So right now, I remember why I am so privileged to be an American citizen.
Yes, indeed.
Well, you know, I've lived in both, like you have. I mean, I grew up in the city, of course. Grew up in the Bronx and then Manhattan. But I've lived in South Bend, Indiana, and I've lived abroad. I got to tell you, I miss the energy of the city when I am outside of the city. There's something about the energy that people give you, the diversity of people,
live in the
things
suburbs
to
and
do.
raise chickens?
I do raise chickens.
You can't have chickens in the city.
I cannot live very far from a big metropolis. I've tried to do that and it doesn't work. I always need access to the city at least every day.
I know.
What about you?
Well, I love New York City, and I went to college here, and I think it's a beautiful city and has given me so much in my life. So I'm never one of these people that's like a red state person that says nasty things about big cities, because I don't think it's fair, especially New York. But I will say that I text my husband and I text my friend Esty Cup and her husband. We're on a text exchange. We text every day, and almost every day we talk about moving to Montana and living off the land with a bunch of guns and dogs. And when I'm done in TV or they fire me, that is what I'm going to do. In some state, someplace with like living off the land, like Annie Oakley.
And chickens, chickens, you have chickens.
Everything. Like I want to be like that.
I always am a New Yorker, as you know. I mean, for a couple of years when I was married to the first husband, he dragged me out to exit 60, and it was just a nightmare. Nightmare. I mean, that's not for me. I can't have it, you know?
Yeah.
But I like a small town because you know everybody's business. That appeals to me.
Does it really?
It's like Steel Magnolias. if you don't have something nice to say, sit next to me.
The thing is, faster places, the new cities, have higher smoking rates. And residents were less likely to help strangers in need. See, I don't agree with that. New York City is such a friendly town. People will stop and help you.
Yes.
Sometimes they'll walk over you, too. I mean, it's a mixed bag.
It's very
here.
diverse.
It's diverse. Yeah. And the other one was more likely to die of coronary heart. This is really a crazy story, I have to tell you. The next generation of sex robots, they are out there already, is being built right now. But some people may be disappointed that they will be programmed to say no. Listen to this, if they're not in the mood. I mean, you're being rejected by a robot.
And you probably paid a lot of money for the robot.
Yeah, purchased the robot.
Let me explain. $5,000 is what it costs.
That's no.
But it goes
drop in
into
the
so-called dummy mode if it is bored with the attentions of...
Okay, clearly a man made this robot because the second you're not in the mood, you must be a dummy.
Yeah.
One.
Dr.
Two, you are
Sergi
paying
Santos.
for rejection. You turn to the robot because you were being rejected. This is going to lead to a lot of problems.
Well, obviously, these are women robots because there is no way a male robot would ever not be in the mood.
Yeah, you're right.
That's the truth, Anna.
That is so true. But you know what? His wife, it is a male doctor. He's a Spanish inventor. His name is Dr. Sergi Santos. His wife says that it saved their marriage because his needs are met even when his wife of 16 years isn't in the mood. She's totally cool with it. And she says...
So he fashioned the robot after her.
Does she have a name?
Yes.
Robot?
Samantha. Samantha. It's very creepy. Like, how
Is it
could
a
somebody
throuple
have
then?
sex with a robot? Who does that? Like, it's so awful.
Well, let me ask you.
But by
you feel
2050, this is going to be the norm, and by 2030, most people will have some form of virtual sex as they casually browse porn. Experts say human-robot marriages will be the commonplace by 2050. That's in my lifetime.
Oh, my God.
And I will say, anyone who has seen the movie Ex Machina knows this ends very badly for all humans involved.
I'm not okay with it. It's creepy.
Yes.
So what if the robot gets a headache?
Right?
Not tonight,
She goes
dear.
into dummy mood.
And can it be programmed to find a G-spot? These are the questions.
Oh, my God, you guys.
And also, would you...
Well, the woman would have to program it. The man built it, but the woman would have to program it.
Exactly. Right? Would you, Megan?
Why me? Ask Anna.
All right, any of you, would you consider it cheating? If your husband like this, you're telling me this
Does
saved
she
their
have
marriage.
to sleep with us?
I think it's very, very creepy and very creepy. And if my husband is having sex with a freaking robot
Named Samantha.
named Samantha, I mean, that's a very creepy,
listen.
weirdo thing to do.
Listen, if he starts sending, Valentine's Day cards and taking her out to dinner, that might be
So then
more
it's
trouble.
romantic.
The only positive is there are people, I think, right, that may have issues with intimacy or may have issues in
So it could be
life.
prescribed.
And perhaps if it's prescribed
You
by a
need
doctor and
Samantha.
you need a Samantha, that's one thing. But if I'm there...
You know what? Let's not kink shame on this show. Let's be nice to that doctor
If it's
and not
just
kink
ki-
shame
if
on
it's
the view.
just
If you're into having
kinky.
sex with a robot and it's legal and consensual, I don't.
But
whatever.
Sonny just made it.
that.
Sonny just made it medical. Sonny made it medical and therapeutic.
A medical therapeutic
possibly
exception.
necessary.
Can I tell you
medical
something? You're so
you
overthinking
girls-
this. I mean, men will have sex with anything.
That's true. So you girls are actually telling me
right.
that you've never had robotic sex? Give me a break. We'll be right back.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
One of my characteristics, apparently. People,
Smell good.
you know, I meet so many people, I want them to leave with a happy impression.
It's very
That's
nice.
true.
Smell good.
Well, we
Nothing
heard
like BO to turn people off.
we heard that since you were here last time, you've got a new special someone.
Oh.
And that you've been posting all of the sweet photos of her online.
Yeah.
So, that's her in the back. We also have a sweet one, though, just to capture. But that it's funny because I always think of people needing pre-approval. Oh, there's a good one. Let's
nice.
But most people like say, please show me before you post it. She knew what she signed up for.
She definitely knew what she signed up for, and I tell her, it's like you want to enjoy this. You don't want approval before we post pictures. You want to be surprised.
Because clearly you have the same idea of what's a good photo.
Exactly. As long as I look great, we're good.
Can I say something? Because we know each other.
Yeah.
We're friends.
Full
we have a really
disclosure.
good. We know each other, and we have a really good. We're friends. We have a really good mutual friend. But his girlfriend is a nurse from his hometown.
Oh, that's great.
I know, and
She's
it's such a selfless profession, and I love nurses. And I just love that you're
She's
dating.
a pediatric nurse.
Wow.
And we met at a charity event that I do in Kansas City with fellow Kansas City celebrities, Paul Rudd, Jason Sudeikis, Rob Riggle, and Dave Koechner. We do an event there to benefit Children's Mercy Hospital every year, and I met her at the hospital.
Oh, it's amazing.
2 years ago.
Oh, how nice. I hear you have a bit of a late night addiction to texting. To her, I presume, right?
I don't think that's what you're talking about in this case. No, I have another text buddy that I text with.
Who would that be?
The right tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitchell Schwartz.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, just for fun.
Wow.
Awesome.
We text about meat.
Meat.
Yeah, brisket. You know.
Kansas City's got good barbecue.
There we are in a meat locker in Kansas City.
Kansas City barbecue.
Yeah, you have favorite places?
But oh yes, I have all my favorite places in Kansas City, depending on what I'm after. But we met and figured out that we both have a passion for cooking. He's actually a great cook, and so we will literally late night text each other when we have a brisket on the smoker. And I texted him one morning at 4 a.m. when I got up to check my brisket, and he texted back immediately.
Oh my gosh.
Like, my brisket's going good. It's going good.
That's awesome.
Very funny.
Well, since we have you here, we have to talk about your hit show, Modern Family. I think we have to talk about that. But earlier this week, your creator, Steve Levitan, made a lot of headlines for threatening to sever ties with 20th Century Fox, saying he was, quote, disgusted to work for a company connected to Fox News. Now, he seemed to have walked that threat back in another statement, but what did you make of his initial comments?
Well, here's my personal approach in all of this stuff, is I try my best to stay clear of politics and just put my passions and what I believe in, cancer, kids, things like that. But I support Steve, and I know that, he believes very strongly in some things, and I support him. I support anybody who stands up for something that they believe in. I'm focused, and I know the cast is focused on seeing Modern Family through to the end for the fans and for ourselves. I mean, this has been an incredible journey.
It's 10 years.
It will be 10 years.
It's an amazing show.
That's a long time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to do more of that? That was the first episode last year. That was in Tahoe. That was amazing. I love Jesse. Look. 10 years on a sitcom. You guys know how hard this business is. We're not digging ditches. We're not digging holes. And my gosh, we're not, going to work and sweating our butts off. Well, I sweat every day, but I just feel so happy and thankful to have found such a great job with such great people and doing something
You're a
I
lucky
love.
stiff. You have a nice girlfriend, too.
Yeah. To boot.
Eric, there are already rumors flying that you're going to have a spin-off. Is that something you would be open to?
Oh my gosh, what would my spin-off be?
How about Not Such a Modern Family?
Yeah. I have no idea. I think we're open to whatever the studio and the network decide to do. It's going to be really hard when it comes time for us to really have to face the fact that this might be the last season. We're not there yet. We don't have a contract for season 11. But at Christmas time, when nobody's like knocking on the door saying, "What do we think?" I mean, it's going to be a real. That's when reality will sink in.
I can imagine. Well, but however, before your Modern Family days,
What?
you had a lot of acting gigs and apparently a lot of headshots. So we had to dig up a few. I mean, it's what we do here. And is it true that you carried a lot of these around with you?
God, look at that one.
Oh, that's a very standard image.
I really like them.
Off to the side.
I like them.
I look back at that picture and I wonder what was in my arm that was so heavy.
Right? It's so
What was I holding on to?
What was in your hair? More to the point. What gel was there?
Oh my gosh. Well, you know, when I was leaving Manhattan, Kansas, I went to college at Kansas State University, and that's where I decided and figured out I wanted to be an actor. I was like, I have some graduation money in my pocket. What do I need? Well, I need a briefcase. Like,
Yes.
I'm a businessman. My business is me. So I went to Macy's. I bought an ox blood and brass briefcase. And then I was like, well, okay, well, what do I put in this? It's like, well, me. I have to put me in this briefcase. So I filled it with headshots, took it to Chicago. My first meeting ever was with Linda Bernasconi at Harris Davidson talent agency. And I went in there. I still remember what I was wearing. And I had this briefcase next to me. At one point, she's like, what's in your briefcase? And I was like,
Me.
There you go.
there you go. Me. And it's just like headshots and business cards of me.
Smart.
Yeah.
Did you get the job that first time?
She represented me. She was my first agent, and then sent me out on an audition. And I was lucky enough to get the first thing I ever auditioned for.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's unusual.
And then not another thing for a year. I mean, I made the mistake of believing
That's
it was
how you
easy.
know my friend, because my friend Barrett Swadek, who I talked about on the show before, she said you guys just hustled so hard acting. She's an actress as well.
Absolutely.
We became good friends.
It's a hustle, and you have to stick to it. And you can read my Instagram and see that I post messages to actors to just stick with it. If you believe in yourself and you have the talent, talent isn't enough. You have to have more than just talent, and you can you can make it.
You're also working on a campaign right now called Ready, Raise, Rise.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, this is my 4th year with Ready, Raise, Rise, and it's to bring awareness to immuno-oncology research. And this year we're doing a Pick Your Power challenge where you go on to ReadyRaiseRise.com and you submit or share a picture of you and how you harness your inner strength and your inner power to fight cancer, because, you know, it takes an inner strength and inner power. It also takes a family, a great community, and a lot of people to help people through this battle. We're not unique. Here's the sad and good news. When you're diagnosed with cancer, or when a family member is diagnosed with cancer, there's a whole lot of other people that can relate to what you're going through. But your cancer, someone's cancer is unique. And if you go on ReadyRaiseRise.com, you can learn about immuno-oncology therapy. It's not for every kind of cancer, but you can learn a lot about it and how doctors and researchers can fight your cancer differently than they fight other people's cancer. So I encourage you to do that. Post a picture, submit a picture on the website, and then Ready Raise Rise will donate $250,000 to cancer advocacy groups.
That's
Oh,
great.
that's great.
Thank you so much, Eric, for being here.
Thank you, Joy. Thank
And we will be right back.
I was saying I love this suit.
Very
this
cute,
is
very nice.
great.
And I was saying even your male backstage manager complimented on me.
It is sharp.
Complimented me on it. That's when I knew it was good.
Yeah,
Like
it's
if,
good.
If a straight guy likes your outfit, I did something
Yeah.
right.
It's really
Especially
good.
if you're covered from head to toe, you know?
It's really good.
So, you know, you're a big star, and yet I heard that like a week ago, was it a week ago, a talent agent approached you?
No, it
I'm
was
gonna make you
actually
a star.
It was 2 nights ago on my way to LA to start press for this film, and I was sitting beside a scout. And she was trying to scout me the whole flight. She was like, you seriously, you have potential. You could do this. You could be a model or an actress, you know. And I was like, I'm just really not interested. She was like, do you have baggage checked? I was like, yeah, I have baggage checked. She's like, I'm gonna walk you to the baggage carousel. I know where it is. She was like hard. She was not gonna leave me until she absolutely had
How'd
to.
you get rid of her?
Yeah. Well, in the end, I told her I had
Showed
to
her
go to
the
the
movie
bathroom.
trailer.
I was going to LA for press. I was like, what if I get off the plane and there's paparazzi? And she's like, you've been lying to me for 6 hours? Like, what is this? You know?
You clearly shrunk her.
If only I could have shrunk myself.
You clearly don't dress down for traveling. If someone said that about you, when I travel, it's like sweat, like really not pretty. But you're on the cover of the new issue of Shape magazine with a photo spread. We are seeing here for the first time, and in it, you open up about kind of coming across some rough times in your early 20s and how you entered a bikini contest to make ends meet?
Yeah, to make ends meet. It's kind of this crazy story where I totaled my car and I had 2 jobs and I was trying to save for university and I was dead broke. I couldn't afford to replace it. And there was this bikini contest that was going on, and the first prize was a lease on a pickup truck for a year.
Good.
That's pretty good.
And I was like, this is gonna be the most humiliating thing I've ever done in my life, but I need that truck.
Yeah.
And so I entered the contest. I'd never been like really into fitness or working out or anything. I went hard. I went like eggs, raw eggs and protein shakes. And
You went Rocky on this.
Oh yeah, I went Rocky. And 2 weeks later, I only had 2 weeks to prep. I won that truck.
I knew I saw something in you.
Yeah, so did the scout on the plane.
2 weeks, I think I'd be at it for at least 2 years. 2 decades.
I know, of course.
Well, switching gears a little bit, you have 2 new children's books out called The Squicker Wonkers. And you say it's for, thank you, I want to make sure I said it correctly.
You did it very well.
And you say it's for reluctant readers. Can you explain to me why?
When I was a kid, I was a smart kid, but I was a terrible reader. I was slow and I hated books, and eventually I ended up falling in love with literature. And I think the first author to open that window for me was an author by the name of Edward Gorey. And yeah, he's an incredibly famous author if you like dark children's stories, or if you like dark anything. He's very, very dark. And for me, the darkness in his stories was so sophisticated that I felt like I wasn't being pandered to. I wasn't being told, because you're a bad reader, you must be dumb. I felt like he knew I might not be a great reader. I might need 5 words on a page and a big picture, but I'm smart and I can understand things that are beyond my reading level. And so I've written stories that appeal to those children, the children that are like the kid that I was, and that my son kind of has turned out to be. My older son is in Hawaiian immersion. He is learning his primary language in school is Hawaiian. So he's a really bad reader in English. He's terrible. And he gets frustrated and he doesn't want to read.
What's the age group for the books?
I would like to say it's 4 and up,
Yeah.
but I think publishers and the sort of industry would say it's 6 to 10-year-olds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that range is unusual. Usually it's 5 to 7.
Yes.
Or it's 8 to 10. But 6 to 10 is because it is in that reluctant reader group.
Yeah,
So
I
a
love
10-year-old who's a reluctant reader or a 6-year-old who's an advanced reader would both be able
I
to.
love that. And I also want to talk about your fabulous movie. So, Ant-Man and the Wasp, you play the Wasp, and I couldn't believe this, but you are the first female superhero to appear in the title of a Marvel Universe film. The first. So what does that feel like, being the first?
It feels humbling
Yeah.
and exciting. And I've had a moment with my son where I caught him on the Ant-Man and the Wasp set pretending to be the Wasp.
Oh.
And for me, that hit home what this means on a very big scale, not just to me personally, but to have women's names in the title of these films and to be showing not just little girls, but little boys that women can be super and that women can be heroes is a very big mark. And for me, it's an incredible feather in my cap. I'm
Because
very
we're
proud.
superheroes every day.
Talking about superheroes, you look downright fierce in that costume. And I heard that it was perfectly fitted to your body. It took months. The process was a lot of months. I hope that when you're not using it, maybe you can lend it to me. I can wear it on my thigh. Tell me what that process was like and what it was.
Well, they take measurements and then you come and there's a prototype that you put on. And the prototype obviously did not fit spectacular-y well. And it really disappointed me that it flattened my butt. Because I was like, listen, if I'm going to be a superhero, I got to look good being superhero-y. So we worked for months, like 6 months I was in and out of these day-long fittings, and at the end when we finally did get the suit right and I put it on, it was like fighting tooth and nail for them to get it off of me.
What's it made of? Because it looks like
So
super
good.
Spanx.
Yeah.
No, it's leather.
Is it heavy?
It's
Oh, it's
heavy.
leather. Okay.
You wouldn't believe how heavy. I need assistance to get into it. It's made completely of leather. I've got 3 layers. I've got a corset underneath it.
They
my
still
ways.
put us in courses.
Not my ways.
Superheroes.
And
I was super skinny.
Oh no.
Yeah, no kidding.
God.
Yeah, but Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer, who I love way back from Grease too, are your parents in this movie. How did it feel to act with them?
Oh my God. I mean, what? Like, first you get Michael Douglas as your dad and you pinch yourself and you carry on. And then you get Michelle Pfeiffer as your mom and you just give up. You're like, this is ridiculous. This is amazing.
It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you.
It's just charming and talented and skinny.
With or without
What a
support.
great bikini contest in 2 weeks, right?
It was for a truck.
It's for a truck, a pickup truck. Come on.
Important.
Our thanks to Evangeline Lilly. Ant-Man and the Wasp is in theaters July 6th, and we'll be right back.